Now we're going to talk about the 5 elements of coaching. So these are the elements that you will see in every great coaching session, okay? Regardless of what type of coaching you're doing, business coaching, relationship coaching, spiritual coaching, you're going to see these 5 elements in all great coaching sessions, okay? The first element is setting the agenda. That's the first thing we do in a coaching session. We help the client identify what is it that they want out of the session, okay? And until we identify what that is, we don't move forward with the coaching session because we haven't set the agenda. And having done this for over a decade now and seen people submit their recordings to the ICF for international credentialing, I see that this is the number one reason that recordings get sent back is we get into conversations with people and we never set what the agenda is. Now the key here is to make sure that it's what the client really wants to spend their time talking about. Very often people come in talking about subject A and we go with it and we follow all the rabbit holes down with them. But if we would have asked them, is that what you want to spend the next hour with us talking about? They'd say, oh, no. I just wanted to bring that up with you. Oh, okay. So it's really important to do that initial kind of negotiation with the client. What is it that you'd like to spend your time focusing on today? And it's most important that it's the client that's bringing up the different things. Now, sometimes clients will bring up 3 or 4 things and you'll kind of discuss, okay, we have an hour today. Do you want to go through all of those, spend a little bit of time on each? How is it that, how would you like to navigate the time today? How do you want to allocate the time today? And it's also important when the client tells us, here's what I want to spend time on, mirror that back to them. Okay, so what I'm hearing you say is that you would like to talk about your feelings about your mom. Okay, that sounds like an important thing. Is that what you'd like to spend today's session on? Yes, it is. And so at the beginning of the session, we already hear that going on. Sometimes clients come to us and say, I booked this hour with you. I knew that I wanted to talk to you about something. But I'm not quite sure what that is. Okay, so would you like to spend the beginning of the session figuring out what you want to do some thinking about? Yeah, it is. And actually, when I have a coaching session, when I'm the client, I'd come in just really excited that I have some time to think, some time to reflect, and I'm not really sure what I'm going to reflect on. And I spend the first couple minutes with my coach thinking about what it is that I want to do some thinking about. So that's setting the agenda. Okay, the second step is transformational listening. That's the second element, okay? And it's something that we're gonna have a whole nother video on coming up, which is all about transformational listening, but suffice it to say, amazing listening. One of the main things you're gonna see coaches doing is listening. So developing incredible listening skills to get to that point where it's transformational listening or level 5 listening, which we're gonna have a video about, 5 levels of listening, is extremely important to be an incredible listener. That's why people open up. They really see that you're interested, you're curious in what it is that they're thinking versus what most people are doing as they're listening is waiting for their turn to talk. So if that's you, you're gonna learn how to not do that anymore, how to be a transformational level 5 listener. So that's the second element. The third element is powerful coaching questions. Coaches are either listening or asking questions most of the time, and learning how to ask questions that really make people think, that really challenge them to think about what it is that they want, how are they going to get it, what are the action steps, why does this matter to you, why is this so important to you, what is it that you really, really want on the deepest level, what are your goals, your values, your mission. All of those things are developed through incredible listening and powerful coaching questions. So learning how to ask questions like a coach is a very important tool, okay? Number 4 is designing an action plan. So that's the 4th element of incredible coaching, great coaching, is where you're designing an action plan. You're helping the client come up with the next steps. You've had a great conversation with them. You set the agenda really well. You've asked them questions, you've listened to their answers, you've helped them come up with new creative thinking about what it is that they want. They've come up with new ideas, but we want to bring that down to earth towards the end of the session where they have an action plan. These are steps that they're going to be taking between now and the next time they see you. And that's often the question we'll ask them. So what are some next steps that you'd like to take between now and the next time I see you? So that's designing an action plan. And we talk about designing an action plan because, there are nuances to it. So if a person wants to exercise more, how much do you want to exercise? And what's the minimum amount of time? What would work for you? What has worked for you in the past? Do you have to tell yourself, I'll do an hour? Or maybe if you just go into the gym for 5 minutes, you'll get to that goal. Or the business plan that you're working on, whatever it is that the client's working on. So we're setting up an action plan. And that leads us to the fifth element, which is accountability. Accountability is one of the most transformational parts and also most simple parts of coaching, where a client tells us, all right, here's what I want to do. Here's the step that I want to take between here and next time, and this session and the next time we meet. And we're going to ask them, did you do what you said you were going to do? And the chances of them actually following through with their action plan goes up 400% when they know that someone's going to ask them, did they do what they said they were going to do? So that's what accountability is. Accountability requires the coach to get really specific with the client about what it is that they're going to follow up with the client on, to set a time and date for when they're going to follow up and how we're going to do it. Is it going to be a text, an email, a WhatsApp, or at the next session that we have? Are you going to contact me or am I going to contact you? And the client is going to follow through with a high likelihood because they know someone's going to ask them. And, a lot of people feel that this is one of the most transformational pieces of having a coach for them, is because they know what they want, they know what they need to do, but they need someone to follow up with them and hold them accountable to it. Some coaches actually call themselves accountability coaches because they just, recognize that this is what a lot of people are missing. They know what they want, they know what they need to do. They just don't have anyone to hold them accountable to it. And they don't want that to be a friend or family member, someone that's, overly involved in their life, in their personal life. They want that to be someone that is really neutral, and a coach can do that. So those are the 5 steps: setting the agenda, making sure we really know what it is that we're going to focus on today, transformational listening, doing incredible listening. We're going to learn more about that. Powerful coaching questions, we're going to learn more about that, how to be someone who leads with powerful questions, and designing an action plan, making sure that we're tweaking it, helping the person really understand what their next steps are, and accountability, the follow-up, and that helps them with the follow-through. It's really, really important. So those are the 5 steps that you want to see in every coaching session, regardless of what specialty you choose to go into eventually. Thanks for joining. Join us in the next one.